Hi guys, thanks for clicking on this video. I'm so glad you're here. Today is going to be a doozy. This is the first time I've really fully prepped a video beforehand and really prayed over it and wrote out an entire outline on my computer, so hopefully I don't miss any points I want to make because it is a more serious topic and I really want to handle it with as much maturity and put my best effort into trying to make this video as helpful as it can be. Today we are talking about why I believe that MLM companies are dangerous for Christians. I need to put a disclaimer out for the fact that I have never actually worked in an MLM company, and that stands for multi-level marketing, and I also am not claiming to know everything about every company. I don't know everything about every company. I know that there are some companies that do things ethically, and those are gonna not be what I'm talking about today. Are you kidding me? It's just become the normal routine on my videos. I'm gonna start off with a description of kind of what multi-level marketing is, if you're new to that term, if you've never really heard of it. It's set up kind of like a pyramid, and that's why you kind of hear pyramid schemes thrown out there in the same kind of phrasing as MLMs or network marketing. And it's basically, it'll be a company selling a service or a product, and its main revenue for the person in the company is through actually selling their product to consumers or getting revenue from getting people to sign up under you and buy the wholesale product, so you get a percentage off of them joining, because typically you have to buy into the company. You have to buy the products to even become a part of the company. So the person at the top is going to be making the most money, and it just goes down the line from there. The more people they get in their downline, so to speak, the more money they make. It is kind of a more touchy subject because I know a lot of people have either been in these, they love these, they are currently in an MLM, so I do want to be careful that I'm not necessarily lumping everybody into this category. But I know that there are some people who genuinely love the product, so this isn't just talking about everybody, so please keep that in mind. This is more of worst case scenarios and just things to be looking out for. As fellow Christians and fellow believers, we need to be thinking critically about even our job because that is a huge part of our life and need to be thinking critically, especially if it's not really in line with what scripture says we should be doing. I also want to briefly touch on the people that are probably going to be more like me, who judge people in MLM companies. I am guilty of that, and I recognize that that is wrong, and I'm really trying to work on that and repenting of that, because I know that that's really unfair to them to just judge from the sidelines. Trying to speak to everybody here, holding ourselves accountable too. Even though we're not in a multi-level marketing company, we don't like them, we still should not be passing judgment and hating those who do. Okay, now that I've gotten pretty much all of that out of the way, we're gonna start talking about the points that I really want to make of why I think that it's dangerous for Christians to be in one of these companies. So let's get started. Okay, so one of the main things that has really bothered me about MLMs is they lure people in with their hopes and dreams of having financial security and freedom, like freedom of time, not having a boss, being able to create your own schedule, being able to work from home, the flexibility and the freedom that a company like this can give you. They really throw that at you, and they also throw financial security. So they like to say, would you like to make $60,000 a month from your couch? They and I'm serious, they throw those things in your face. Who wouldn't want to do that? But that's what they really use to just draw people in because it's so universally like agreed upon that, yeah, that sounds awesome. Now, with how much they push that ideology, that it starts, or it can harbor some greed, covetousness, and selfishness within just those two things. Because one, selfishness, because you just want to be your own boss, you want to have your own freedom, your own time frame, you don't want to work. I think essentially a lot of people who get into these things hear about the people that are high up in the company who don't really work anymore. They just let their downline work for them. That's so selfish to want to get into it for that reason of like, okay, if I work really hard, then I won't ever have to work again, you know? And we weren't made that way. God made us to work, and it's good that we work. Like, work was there before sin came into the world. So work is good, and work is good in the sight of God. Story time for this next point. I was in a relationship with someone who started getting involved in one of these companies, and I really wasn't a fan of it, but I also wanted to support and be open-minded, I guess. I went to a conference with him in Portland, and the entire conference was just like one big party to promote their wealth. All the speakers that got up that were like high up in the company had these like promo videos before they came out, and just showing all of their houses, all their cars, all their jet skis, or where they live, and just literally pumping you up with just like so much adrenaline and so much excitement, just to like slam their wealth in your face to hopefully get you to go out and do the same thing. In essence, creating this covetousness in you the whole weekend, and then also greed to go out and do whatever it takes to get the same things they have. In my spirit, I was waging war. I could tell. I was like, yes, this sounds really good. And it was just like pulling me this way. I'm like, but it's also all about the money and the wealth, and it shouldn't be like that. And so I was just like tugging back and forth because like, yeah, that sounds so appealing to my flesh, but then my spirit was just saying this isn't right. And so it was tough. It was tough to be like the girlfriend on the sidelines being like, what do I do? With that said, I want to talk about a specific couple of verses that I really think hone in on a lot of what I'm talking about. And it is in 1 Timothy 6. I encourage you to read the entire chapter for context, but we are just going to be focusing on verses 9 and 10 because I feel like that's kind of the culmination of what it really boils down to. But those who desire to be rich fall into temptation, into a snare, into many senseless and harmful desires that plunge people into ruin and destruction. For the love of money is a root of all kinds of evil. It is through this craving that some have wandered away from the faith and pierced themselves with many pangs. It's not rich people that fall into temptation, it's the desire to be rich. Later on, it says it will plunge people into ruin and destruction. That's not tiptoeing into ruin and destruction. That is being plunged. It's not just like, oh, just, whoa, I kind of slipped into this ruin and destruction. It's like, no, you were plunged into it. And then the verse that I think that everybody uses this but doesn't even know that it's a verse, and they've twisted it to say money is the root of all kinds of evil. Money isn't the root of all kinds of evil. It's the love of money that is the root of all kinds of evil. What are these conferences doing? They're promoting wealth. They're loving money. They're desiring to be rich. Red flags everywhere. The next point I want to make is it's a 24/7 business mentality. Like, you don't just clock in and clock out. You can't just stop working and start working. You're literally thinking about it all the time. And I mean, that is a struggle from working at home as well. I know the way that these businesses are set up is it's so personal. Like, you need to go and be recruiting people to become your downline, or you won't succeed in this business. You won't be making enough money to make ends meet. You won't even be breaking even unless you have people under you. Whenever you're talking to people, you're going to be thinking about that. So you can't just like clock in and clock out and be like, okay, I did my 8 hours, it's time to go home. It's like, no, You'll be working working in your mind while you're sleeping, while you're eating breakfast, while you're eating lunch, while you're going out to hang out with friends. Like, it just follows you. It's part of who you are. It becomes who you are. The next point I want to make, that is one of the things I just really, really hate about it, is there's so much secrecy in these companies. If you've ever been approached by someone, like at the grocery store, which Nick and I actually were approached by someone in the grocery store maybe like a couple months ago, and I have been aware of these things for a lot longer, so I could tell the lingo and I knew where it was going. Nick didn't really know what this guy did. He was very innocent in talking to him, and where I would have just been like, no, we don't need to continue down this road. He kept asking questions, which is how the guy set it up, was for Nick to ask him questions about what he does. So what do you do for work? And he never answered. He just kind of gave this, wow, there's so much to it. I would love to go and get coffee with you and talk about it. Who else does that? When you ask what they do, you have to go and get coffee with them and sit down for an hour, 2 hours, and hear about their business opportunity. That's another thing. It's labeled as a business opportunity all the time. It's just like, oh, I have this great business opportunity. I think you'd be interested in it. It's never about the products. It's never about the company. So many times people don't even mention the company until they've got you really interested. They just give you these like vague little tidbits here and there until you're like, yeah, that sounds really good. It's just so wrong. It just feels like, are you hiding something? Why can't you tell me what you do? Why can't you just say, I'm in network marketing? What's wrong with that? If someone asks me what I do, hey, I work at a coffee roaster. It's awesome. I love it. What do you do? It's not, oh, wow, that's a loaded question. But I'd love to sit down and have coffee with you. Red flag. No, just tell me what you do. Just tell me what you do. They kind of corner you a lot of times when they're talking about their business opportunity to you. They corner you, and then they try and lure you in with the same financial freedom, security, and get you to be like, yeah, it sounds really good. I'd love to get you signed up right now and we can get this dream going for you. You know, it's like you don't really have any option to back out once they've reeled you in that far. In 1 Peter 2:1, it says to put away all malice and all deceit and hypocrisy and envy and slander. So what I really want to hone in on is put away all deceit. Don't be deceitful. Don't just like tell people, oh, there's this great business opportunity. You can be your own boss. You can make thousands of dollars a month from your couch. That's deceitful. If you're not fully disclosing what it is, what it entails, and I'm going to get into a little bit more of the statistics of how people literally don't make money. The majority of people don't make money off of this, so it's all lies. And the next 2 points I want to hone in on are, I think, the most crucial. The first one I want to talk about is it changes how people view you. You start to become annoying. You kind of lose your credibility with people. People don't really want to hang out with you anymore. People don't really want to reply to your messages anymore because typically your messages will lead to talking about your MLM company. One of the things I've tried to do with people that have messaged me, because I have gotten so many messages, and I'm sure basically anyone who's watching this has probably gotten at least 1 to maybe 10, 15, who knows how many messages from these people. Like, they're relentless. But I started trying to give more grace and trying to be kinder in my responses. So I love to say things like, thank you for reaching out to me. Thank you for thinking of me for this. But I'm just not interested in doing something like this. If I do become interested, I will for sure contact you. Trying to say, no, I'm not interested, but if I ever did, I will contact you. Sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't. And it's the people that just keep pushing that typically I actually will stop replying because it's just not worth it. I don't want to be one of the 25 copy and pasted messages that day, okay? I just don't like that. People don't really want to talk to you anymore, and that is crucial to your Christian life. Like, you're not going to even be credible to your friends and family anymore. They're not going to want to listen to what you have to say because typically everything centers around your business, going back to the fact that it's a 24/7 business mentality. Okay, so in 1 Peter 2:11 and 12 it says, "Beloved, I urge you as sojourners and exiles to abstain from passions of the flesh which wage war against your soul. Keep your conduct among the Gentiles honorable, so that when they speak against you as evildoers, they may see your good deeds and glorify God on the day of visitation." We are image bearers of God, and we are God's and Christ's representatives here on earth. And so if we're so annoying to people and lose all our credibility with people, we are not going to be able to reach them with the gospel because they won't care to even talk to us anymore. The last point I want to make is, in my opinion, the saddest. It changes how you view people. People become just another dollar sign. Image bearers of God become dollar signs. I have to get them signed up under me. If I get them signed up, then they're really spunky and they're really nice, and maybe they can get some other people, and then cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. You just need to get them to sign up under you, and you get a profit of them buying the wholesale product. Even if they don't even sell any of it, they lose money, but you've made money off of them. And so it's not even necessarily caring about them. It's not necessarily wanting them to succeed in the business. It's wanting them to succeed under you so that you can succeed. And it's just using people as just tools for your own selfish gain. And I hate that. As believers in the Lord, we have to see people as the gospel is most important. These people need the gospel. They don't need me to bring them into this business. That is the saddest thing, is when people just become an opportunity to earn more money for yourself. So the verses I picked out concerning this is John 13:34 and 35, which say, "A new commandment I give to you, that you love one another. Just as I have loved you, you also are to love one another. By this, all people will know that you are my disciples, if you have love for one another." We are supposed to represent Christ. And we are supposed to love people. We are supposed to sacrifice for others. Not us sacrificing others for our own selfish gain. People lose money when they join MLMs. Even though they are promised financial security, health, wealth, prosperity, it's basically the prosperity gospel in a company. According to a report that studied the business models of 350 MLMs published on the Federal Trade Commission's website, at least 99% of people who join MLM companies lose money. Because people buy in, they have to buy the products, and they end up with all of this stock of stuff they can't sell. They can't get people to sign up under them because people in the right mind don't really want to get involved in that, don't want to lose money. Like the statistics show that you lose money, and for all the other reasons I've stated, I'm sure other people feel the same way. So they end up with all of this stock just kept in their garage, and they're unable to sell it. And to stay in the company, you have to keep buying. And so you lose money. You'll be told by the people that are higher up, well, you just didn't want it. You just didn't want it enough. You didn't try hard enough. They put the blame on you. Like it's your fault for not working hard enough. It's your fault for not talking to the right people. It's you. It's not our way of conducting our business. It's not our business model. Surely not. It's you. It's your problem. You're the reason that you lost money. It's losing people money. It's changing the way people view people, and it's just so deceptive and so greedy. I'm just gonna wrap this up knowing that this is kind of a long video. Thank you for hanging in with me. Like I said, I I put the time into this because I really wanted it to be as informative as possible. I would love for you guys to comment your opinions down below if you are in one of these companies, if you've been in one of these companies, but also remember this is coming from an outsider's perspective. I don't know from experience, and also I don't know everything about every company, so I'm not saying that this is every single company, but I'm saying that this is probably the vast majority that do things this way. And so just keep that in mind. I'm working off of my own experiences. I'm working off of what the Bible says, trying to align things and see, is this smart for Christians to be in a company like this that does things like this? Weigh it out yourself. I hope that this is helpful. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. I will see you next time.